Hello viewers, welcome to the live stream. Today I'm printing something I've designed myself. I've never done this before, and just kind of exciting to, make a design and then bring it into a slicer and then see it appear on the printer. So before any of this, everything I've printed was something I'd found on Thingiverse. So yeah, basically I used 3D builder that came with this Windows 10 install when I bought this little cheap laptop here, and had to fiddle around with it last night. I hadn't really played with it, so I wasn't sure how it all worked, but once I worked out that I could say get a block and then what was it? It was scale it in whatever axes, and I could, hang on, that's the move function. And I could move things around like that. I could make it skinny or rotate it. But once I worked out I could do something like use a subtract function. Let's say I put that there, and then I go to edit and then hit this subtract button up here. That removes the highlighted thing. What happened there? Didn't work. Oh, it took a while to crunch the numbers, and there it is. It's basically used that piece as a tool to remove something. So now when I move around and look at the piece, you can see where the toroid was removed. So that's how I built a jeweler's peg. I don't know if it's going to be any good, made out of PLA. They're typically made of hardwood, but yeah, here is the file I was using last night, and I just made it out of using blocks and would make them longer, and then made a wedge to stuff in there and used the wedge to subtract from that, and put a cone up through there to subtract that hole, and then dropped a hexagon in there to give me levels of something to press a workpiece up into while you're doing sawing on it, and then spat it out as an STL file, pulled it into Cura, sliced it, and then we run it on the printer. So it's been quite a long print. I think I'm up to about 2 hours now. I did try running it with this timber wood filament. No, I was very unimpressed with the first time I used the wood filament, but I thought, hang on, let's give it a fair go. Make sure the nozzle's super duper clean, and yeah, and it just didn't work. It would get stuck up in here. You'd see the wheel just rolling and turning and turning and turning, and it would just chew out the side. I'll show you an example of the chewed up. You can see. And so once it starts chewing it up, it gets weak and it can't push it because it'll bend. But worse than that, it was blockage in the nozzle. It blocked up a number of times, and I battled on. I tried to pull the filament and shove it back through about 5 times during the print, and actually managed to keep the print going, which was weird. I thought once it lost a bit of filament and didn't lay down on the track that it was on, that it would have destroyed the print, but yeah, I pulled the filament out and shoved it back down about 5 times before I had it plug up altogether and stop extruding completely. I've had to solder up in here today on the thermistor wire again. Second time I've had to repair the thermistor wire on this. I'm running with a warm bed because I've done some PLA prints recently and watched them basically just turn into a rounded shape on the bottom, and then the thing would just start rocking backwards and forwards. I really would have liked to have used that wood filament. I think the only way I'm going to be able to use the wood filament is to get a much bigger nozzle, you know, like up around 0.8 or 1mm size nozzle, so that it can really force it out and anything that gets caught in there won't get stuck. Because I've noticed once it gets stuck it seems to burn. And you get this black stuff that stinks like coffee get ejected when you finally clear the blockage. This little machine's been running really well. It is making a lot of sort of rattly noises, and it's coming down from here. Like if I just put my finger there, you hear all the rattles go away. And there are some prints that I've found on Thingiverse where you can pull out and install these plastic spacers which grip these and take out a bit of the wobble. I haven't seen too much trouble from it. I've made a bunch of hooks. I've got hooks all over the wall. These little green hooks are... I'm hooked on hooks, you could say. The stroboscope is coming from an LED torch that I've just put a bit of light. It's creating that rolling shutter problem. It's not quite bright enough in here, but the torch is struggling to deliver. These egg cups I made last week with the green tea glaze. Different ways of slicing gave me different results. This one's under extruded. I was pushing at about 80%. They've been extensively trimmed, so there was a hell of a lot of stringing. You can see the artifacts where the strings were run across. This thing was just a triangle mesh of strings. It was really, really bad. And when I sliced it to just make a shell only, I got that, and that was the best print I've had it made. Does have a hole in the bottom though. There's another under extruded part. Bit of under extrusion there on the hook. And this is the only one I've done with infill. And that came out quite good. It's a fair bit lighter. So, and print time was quicker, of course. But it gave me a good strong hook without wasting too much plastic, making that completely solid. It did lose that really nice sheen though, and had that rough texture appear in that oval shape. It's funny what slicing does. Different results you get with just the click of one button. I'm gonna have to turn that torch off altogether. It's just too stroby. Maybe I can use this one. That one's not strobing. And hopefully this thing's strong enough to stand up to the pressure of holding the job and sawing and filing and carrying on. The kind of things that are going to happen with this. And they're a disposable thing anyway, so it'd be handy to have a file that I can just go, oh, I've worn it out, print another one. There's a green robot I made last night. That rattle really is annoying. I've heard some funny behaviours out of these machines. There's a Google Plus community for the mono price Mini, which is the same thing as this Malian M200 or Arduino Tech Rebadge. This one is. Yeah, one of the strange behaviours is at some point during a long print, this will just reverse and spit all your filament back out, and then it carries on thinking it's printing. That would be super annoying. You can see how I've unbundled that from the main feed tube for the filament. It's taken a lot of tension out of that wire loom and let this move a bit more freely. The addition of this fan has really helped. It's not on at the moment because I don't need it with the PLA. But when you get thick pieces of this stuff forming, it really holds the heat. You need the fan, more fan. Just simply not enough on these little minis. I was doing a print the other day and I set it on the bed in the code so that it printed right there, and it printed cleaner than one that was printed over here. And if you think about how much room for movement this arm has, obviously it's going to flex less at this corner than this corner. So that set me to thinking about the whole idea of, you know, where you position your print when you're running. You know, you want to say, all right, I'll print it over here or I'll print it over there. I thought long term, it's probably a good idea to mix it up where you would print things, because the parts that are going to wear out on your printer, if you always print it in the center, then the part of the belt that's rubbing over the pulley up inside there is always going to be getting the most action. So if, you know, instead of every time you set your model to print right in the center, you set it over here or set it over here or wherever, just mixing it up, it'd probably give you better wear life on your belt. What are your thoughts on that, guys? Don't know if this thing's going to be thick enough. I really didn't want to print it solid. That would have just been way too much plastic. Speaking of plastic, it's amazing how much waste is generated. Look at this jar here. once I get enough of this, I'm going to stick it in a pan and stick it in the little toaster oven I got, and melt it into a slab and see what I can do with it. I also want to play with milk bottles and plastic bags from the shops. Yeah, I actually pressed pause before when I was having trouble with that timber filament, and then retracted the filament, cut and put some fresh stuff in, extruded it and grabbed the tweezers and nipped off the little plug of crap from under the bed and set it going again. Really keen to have a go at doing, say, a multicoloured print with something like the tea glaze. So, you know, halfway through a print, just hit the pause button and have a different colour of tea glaze ready to go, and just go from one colour to the next. That'd be fun to try. I don't know if I haven't seen anyone do that. Obviously, it's doable, because I had no drama pulling out and reseating and continuing the print when I was stressing out about this rubbish, this absolute crap I wasted my money on. Definitely going to get a larger nozzle and see if that timber will print on large nozzle. It's just really annoying to have stuff sitting here that you've bought and you can't use. I also put some little tracks down the side. I'm not sure if it was a silly thing to do for a jeweler's peg, but the idea being that it holds in the dust and stuff that you're working with, because you're working with silver and gold. So you know, you want it all to be contained, so you don't make a mess and lose it. I'm thinking of setting up the bench work here with this peg and hanging some sort of leather drawer that just sits under there and catches any stuff that falls down during the sanding and filing and sawing. Another thing I've found is really important to do, especially if you've had any problems with something getting chewed up. I've got this little brush here, and just as that push wheel goes around, get down in there and really clean out those, because you know, it's quite lubricated when it's got a powder, and it can't grab the filament and push very well if there's some sort of powder in there. It's a good idea to maintain this little piece here and not let any crap build up on it, because if it can't push, it can't extrude. Tape is another funny one. I bought a good brand name tape. This masking tape is, you know, designed to be put on and peeled off, and as such the adhesive isn't good enough to maintain good contact with the bed during print. And I was out shopping the other day and I was having a browse around for different tapes, and I saw one and I thought, oh, that looks like I thought it was a masking tape. Here it is here. It's designed as an exterior masking tape, but it's not paper at all. It's so slippery, filament would not stick to it. So there was a waste of $17. Can't really take that back to the shop and say it's not fit for purpose, because I bought it for 3D printing and not for masking a house up. How do you clean your nozzle? How do I clean my nozzle? I take it out when it's hot. I get a pair of pliers or a pair of tweezers, and I hold the nozzle and I hit it with a blowtorch until the plastic drops out. I keep hitting it with the blowtorch until it glows bright red, and then I dunk it straight into some vinegar. And the vinegar maintains an acetic acid environment that gives, instead of it oxidizing, it's a reductive environment, so it comes out all nice and shiny. And then I just get a little bit of like a kitchen skewer and stick it down the throat and just scour it out to get the last bits of carbon out. Comes out very clean and without too much fuss. I've had problems trying to do the cold pull method. Every time I try to yank cold filament back out of this, it feels like it's going to break something, and the amount of force that it applies on this, you can see this arm rising up when you're pulling on the filament. It's just it's out of control. I think just pulling the nozzle out and burning it is a good method. What do you think? I'd love to hear your feedback. Well, this thing's nearly finished. That might be a top layer. It's very smooth. Just got to do these side bits where it'll hold the precious metals dust together. And yeah. I was thinking of letting it cool down as well before I made any effort to get it off the bed, because that should provide some shrinkage, which should make it sort of fall off a lot easier. I don't want to bend it when I'm trying to pull it off too. I feel like it's not going to be strong enough, but at any rate, I'm just super happy to be, you know, seeing something that I designed being printed, rather than me pulling something from Thingiverse and then printing it. I was so happy to discover the subtract function. It was just like, you know, as somebody who's carved sandstone or timber, and you know, the whole subtraction process of making a thing, I just clicked to that idea. So it was just a case of grab a block and use another piece as the knife, so to speak. I ended up mucking up the model and having this arm too long, so I made another block in the CAD program and just lined it up here and subtracted it and trimmed all edges just like I had a big knife. It was heaps of fun. I really thought I was on a win this afternoon when I had this this timber filament printing nicely. I actually managed to get probably, I was about four or five layers down of this print before it got so blocked that it just couldn't push. Look what it's done there. Focus, focus. was watching a video the other day that you can bake your PLA to get a stronger material. That was quite impressive. Something to do with the polymers lining up, getting more and more organised as it's sat in an oven and just maintained a temperature for a while. If you had any experience with that, your comments would be appreciated. Man, that's noisy. Noisy. Annoying noisy. Noising. Making up words here. Must be nearly the last layer. It's not a good thing for this to look at, to be focusing. Every time I move over here it tries to refocus and then goes out of focus. Come on, Samsung. Question time. How can I tell that it's nearly near the last layer? Well, underneath there's an infill. You can see it's all sort of a mesh, but then it's smooth on the like the finishing layer. So you go from mesh to smooth. That's how you can tell. So what am I making? This is a jeweler's peg, if you've just joined. It goes on the bench and it gives you a workplace to hold your job. So when you look, let's go over here to examples of them that I was looking at. There they are there. If I've just put in jeweler's peg and pressed images, you can see this type goes in like a little vise, and this is the type that I'm making now. And you can see why I'm wondering if it's going to be strong enough, because hardwood timber is very, very strong, and flex could also be an issue. But you know, it's a fun little experiment, and the whole idea that I got to play with making something and then slicing it and then printing it, that's yeah, that's a lot of fun. What can I make next? Those of you out there in YouTube land that are monetized and getting money off Google for your ad revenue, how are you feeling the pain with the reduced amount of ads being served at the moment? There's a controversial comment. Backwards and forwards. Why does it do that on an angle and then back and forwards? It would be sort of more economical, I would think, to have the bed slide forwards and backwards and lay down the track left, right, little bit instead of across. I was looking at it and it's not actually drawing a straight line. It's ever so slightly wonky. Comment there that PewDiePie is getting blamed. Well, PewDiePie is actually getting blamed. Everybody's saying that PewDiePie is to blame because he was responsible for Disney asking, well, where is my Google ad money actually being spent? Or it could just be a great big conspiracy to demonetize the platform and stop paying so much money to all of the bigger producers. There's a lot of haves and have-nots out there in the YouTube land, and it doesn't seem to be evenly distributed. How's that looking? Oh, nearly there. May as well upload this to Thingiverse. I haven't put any files up. If anyone else wants to make one, then they can too. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll put a link in the description. There'll be two firsts today. Printed a model that I made and uploaded it to Thingiverse. Well, I'm going to leave this a good half hour to cool down on the bed before I even try to snap it off. I'm calling that a live feed done. Thanks for dropping by, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.